Favorite quotes from the book, The Power of the Spoken Word by Florence Scovel Shinn. I refer to intuition very often, for it is the most important part of spiritual development. It is divine guidance. Remember, despise not the day of small things, of seemingly unimportant events. There is a spiritual prototype of your body and affairs. I call it the divine design, and this divine design is a perfect idea in your superconscious mind. Let me now express the divine idea in my mind, body, and affairs. Negative thoughts have always defeated the manifestation of your heart's desire. My ways are ways of pleasantness. We should all build up in consciousness a picture of peace, harmony, and beauty, and someday it will push itself into visibility. People often become impatient and discouraged. I was inspired by reading in the paper about Omaha, the famous racehorse. The article said, Omaha has to run a mile before he gets into his stride. There are, no doubt, a lot of Omahas in the world, but they can get into their spiritual stride and win the race in the twinkling of an eye. In all thy ways acknowledge the divine, and the divine will make plain thy paths. Every moment we link with intuition will give us as definite a lead as a signpost. So many people lead such complicated lives because they are trying to think things out instead of intuiting the way out. I give unto you power. To work with God power, you must give it right of way, and still the reasoning mind. The instant you ask, infinite intelligence knows the way of fulfillment. Man's part is to rejoice and give thanks and act his faith. A very well-known woman in England told of this experience. She was asking with great feeling for a realization of God. These words came to her, act as though I were, and I am. It is exactly what I say over and over again. Only active faith impresses the subconscious, and unless you impress the subconscious, there are no results. In getting a demonstration, we must acknowledge only one power. Evil comes from man's own vain imaginings. Withdraw all power from evil, and it is powerless to hurt. Many people are using personal power instead of God power, which always brings unhappy reaction. Personal power means forcing personal will. Hear, O Israel, ye have no need to fight. Stand ye still and see the salvation of the Lord. People often ask, what does it mean to stand still? To do nothing at all? Standing still means to keep your poise. I said to a man who was tense and anxious, take it easy and see the salvation of the Lord. He replied, my, that has helped me a lot. Most people are trying too hard. They carry their burdens and fight their battles and are, therefore, always in turmoil and never get what we call a demonstration. Stand aside and see the salvation of the Lord. We might paraphrase the scriptures and say, hear, O Israel, you will never win this battle by fighting. Leave it entirely to me, and it will be given you. Following the magic path of intuition, you escape all complications and friction, and make a beeline to your demonstration. Remember, we are told not to despise the day of small things. It is a great mistake to think that anything is unimportant. Learn from the little things, and you will be ready to handle the big things. All power is given unto me to bring my heaven upon my earth. Be strong, fear not. My supply comes from God and now appears like mushrooms overnight. When you are awake to your good, you know there are no enemies, for God utilizes every person and situation for your good. Hindrances are friendly, and obstacles stepping stones. One with God, you become invincible. Your thoughts and desires are always taking you somewhere. Prentice Mulford says, "The persistent purpose, that strong desire, that never-ceasing longing, is a seed in the mind. It is rooted there. It is alive. It never stops growing. There is a wonderful law involved in it. This law, when known, followed out and trusted, leads every individual to mighty and beautiful results. The law followed with our eyes open leads to more and more happiness in life, but followed blindly with our eyes shut leads to misery. This means that desire is a tremendous vibratory force and must be rightfully directed. Take this statement: I only desire that which infinite intelligence desires through me. I claim that which is mine by divine right and under grace in a perfect way. You will then cease desiring the wrong things, and the right desires will take their place. Your dreary desires are answered drearily. Your impatient desires are long delayed or violently fulfilled. It is important never to lose sight of this. Many unhappy situations have been brought about through dreary or impatient desires." Prentice Mulford has also some interesting ideas on work. He said, "To succeed in any undertaking, any art or any trade or any profession, simply keep it ever persistently fixed in mind as an aim, and then study to make all effort toward it play or recreation. The moment it becomes hard work, we are not advancing." I will repeat that paragraph. To succeed in any undertaking, any art or any trade or any profession, simply keep it ever persistently fixed in mind as an aim, and then study to make all effort toward it play or recreation. The moment it becomes hard work, we are not advancing. Whereas I was blind, now I can see my right work, my perfect self-expression. Whereas I was blind, now I can see clearly and distinctively the divine plan of my life. Whereas I was blind, now I can see that God's power is the only power, and that God's plan is the only plan. The race thought is still within a belief in insecurity. Awake thou that sleepeth. God is your eternal security of mind, body, and affairs. Let not your heart be troubled, neither be afraid. If you were wide awake to your good, you could not be troubled and fearful. Waking up to the truth that there is no loss, lack, or failure in the kingdom of reality, loss, lack, and failure would disappear from your life. They come from your own vain imaginings. The truth student knows he must prove the principle in his everyday affairs. We prove God by directing God power and trusting in it to do the work. Every time we get a demonstration, we have proved God. If you had not received the desires of your heart, you have asked amiss, that is, you have not prayed aright. You receive your answer in the same way in which you sent out your demand. Your dreary desires are answered drearily. Your impatient desires are long delayed or violently fulfilled. So ask or wish with praise and thanksgiving, so that you will see the glory of the law in action. All life is vibration. You combine with what you notice, or you combine with what you vibrate to. Indifference. The occult law underlying indifference is one of the most profound, for it contains the attainment of a state of consciousness in which the outer world of sensation has no influence upon the action of the mind, and it can therefore be in complete at one-ment with the divine mind. Most people's lives are a succession of disturbances, lack, loss, limitation, mother-in-laws, landlords, debt, or injustice. This world was properly known as the Vale of Tears. People were all mixed up in their own affairs, fighting their battles and carrying their burdens. If a man judges by appearances, he finds himself in an arena most of the time, the arena of adverse conditions and facing lines of lack and limitation. If thine eye be evil, in other words, if you are imagining adverse conditions, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? The light of the body is the inner eye, or imagining faculty. If therefore thine eye be single, you are seeing only one power, one plan, and one planner. Your body and affairs will be full of light. See yourself daily, bathed in the light of the Christ. This inner radiance is invincible power and dissolves anything not divinely planned. It dissolves all appearances of disease, lack, loss, or limitation. It dissolves adverse conditions, or any weapon that is formed against you. We have always at our command this light when our eye is single. We should learn to turn on this light with the same assurance with which we turn on the electric light. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all right things shall be added unto you. The Chinese proverb says, "The philosopher leaves the cuff of his coat to the tailor." So leave the plan of your life to the divine planner, and you will find all conditions permanently perfect. Peace and prosperity. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. In this statement from the 122nd Psalm, we find that peace and prosperity go hand in hand. People who are manifesting the appearance of lack, whether they be rich or not, are in a state of fear and confusion. They are not wide awake to their good and miss leads and opportunities. A peaceful person is wide awake. They see clearly and act quickly. They never miss a trick. And might I add that the peaceful person is wide awake to their riches. Peace be within your walls. Your walls are your consciousness. Jesus Christ emphasized peace and rest. Come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He was speaking of the Christ within, your superconscious mind, where there are no burdens and no battles. The doubts and fears and negative pictures are in the subconscious. Only the emotions keep you from reaping your harvest of success, happiness, and abundance. Fear is man's worst enemy, for you attract what you fear. It is faith turned upside down. It is really faith in evil instead of good. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? The fearless, unfettered mind attracts to itself all good. Whatever you desire or require is already on your pathway. Before ye call, I have answered. Suppose we paraphrase the scriptures and say, whatever you desire or require is already planted on your pathway. We must learn to get out of God's way so that he can harmonize or adjust the situation. The word harmonize is a very good one, for I have seen crooked places made straight and adjustments made that no human mind could have thought of. All that the kingdom affords is yours, if you will give infinite intelligence right away, for it has already supplied a lavish supply for every demand. But it must be fully trusted. If you doubt or fear, you lose your contact with this supreme force. So, if you are filled with doubts and fears, it is necessary to do something to show your faith. Faith without works or actions is dead. Active faith impresses the subconscious with expectance, and you keep your contact with universal intelligence. Just as Wall Street watches the market, we must watch our faith market. Often, the faith market is down. Sometimes it goes down and down until a crash comes, some unhappy situation which we could have prevented. We realize we have followed reason instead of intuition. A woman told me of how she had several definite leads not to follow a certain course. In spite of this, she followed the reasoning mind, and great unhappiness developed from it. Intuition is our unerring guide. Practice following it in little things. Then you will trust it in big things. What is really yours? The answer is, all that the kingdom affords is yours. Every righteous desire of the heart is promised you. There are 3,000 promises in the Bible, but these gifts can only come to us if we can believe them possible. For everything comes through you, not to you. All life is vibration. Feel rich, and you attract riches. Feel successful, and you become successful. If you happen to be in a negative state of mind, just take the statement, "I look with wonder at that which is before me." It creates an expectancy of something wonderful, and something wonderful will come to you. Cultivate the feeling that miracles and wonders are coming to pass. Cultivate a success expectancy. The awakened man knows only one power, God, and one condition, good. The way most people talk, it is appalling when one knows the power of the word and what they are attracting, for they are nearly all describing illnesses. You combine with what you notice. So do not describe anything destructive, for you begin to combine with it. What is really yours? The blessing you bring to yourself, through your spoken or silent word, the things you see with your inner eye. Only your doubts, fears, and resentments keep your good from you. All that you desire or require is already on your pathway, but you must be wide awake to your good to bring it into manifestation. After making statements of truth, you suddenly have a flash of realization. You suddenly feel yourself in a new environment. You feel old negative conditions falling away. I once said to a woman, "The walls of lack and delay now crumble away, and you enter your promised land under grace." She said she had a sudden flash of a wall crumbling away, and that she stepped over it. Soon after that, the change came, and she really did enter her promised land of plenty. Brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. If people obeyed this, general conversation would come to a standstill for a while, until people learn to talk about constructive things. She tells the story of a woman and concludes. She had tapped into her invisible supply from the bank of the universal. She had looked to God only for her supply. Then the channels opened. The point I am bringing out is this, that she had lost all anxiety about money matters. She had established in her subconscious the firm conviction that her supply came from God, and it never failed. Man is an instrument for infinite intelligence to work through. It will express through him as success, happiness, abundance, health, and perfect self-expression, unless fear and anxiety make a short circuit. If we want examples of fearless faith, go to the circus. The circus people perform seemingly impossible feats because they think they can and see themselves doing it. Faith means that you can see yourself receiving all these things that you desire. I will give to thee the land that thou seest. You can never do a thing you cannot see yourself doing, or fill a place you cannot see yourself filling. Not visualizing, making a mental picture. This is a mental process and often brings wrong and limited results. It must be a spiritual realization, a feeling that you are already there. Be in its vibration. When two of you agree, it shall be done. If you believe in yourself, others will believe in you. As you believe in yourself and the God power within, fear and anxiety drop away. You establish the vibration of assurance. This is true of an intuitive person. Every move is made under divine guidance, and he never violates a hunch. Therefore, he is always in his right place at the right time. However, it often takes great courage to follow intuition. It takes a Viking who is unafraid to sail in unknown seas. Claude Bragdon says, "To live intuitively is to live fourth dimensionally. The magic path leads you out of the land of Egypt, out of the land of bondage. It is invaluable in business." Never submit a hunch to someone on the reasoning plane. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear their intuitive leads and give instant obedience. Clear vision is like a man with a compass. He knows where he is going. Let intuition be your compass, and it will always get you out of the woods. Even a man without a compass, led by intuition, would find his way out of the jungle, or be able to steer a ship at sea. Intuition will tell you to walk over the rope. It is amazing how people have overlooked their most important faculty, intuition. Always on man's pathway is his message or lead. Often our leads seem trivial and silly. A person purely on the intellectual plane would dismiss them at once, but the truth student always has his spiritual ear to the spiritual ground, knowing he is receiving orders from the infinite. The Bible speaks often of the still, small voice. It is a voice which is not an actual voice, though sometimes actual words are registered on the inner ear. When we ask for guidance and lay aside the reasoning mind, we are tapping the universal supply of all knowledge. Anything necessary for you to know will be revealed to you. We must stop planning, plotting, and scheming and let infinite intelligence solve the problem in its own way. God power is subtle, silent, and irresistible. It levels mountains and fills in valleys and knows no defeat. Our part is to prepare for our blessings and follow our intuitive leads. We now give infinite intelligence right of way. The watchtower in the wilderness is your high state of consciousness, your fearless faith, your place of safety. There you rise above all adverse conditions, and God's battle is won. We must be founded on faith. Faith gives one a sublime assurance of one's good. One may be surrounded by adverse appearances, but this sublime assurance impresses the subconscious mind, and a way opens for the manifestation of health, wealth, and happiness. There is an endless, invisible supply for every man. Behold, we called, we were answered. There is only one way of getting rid of fear, and that is to transmute it into faith. For fear is the opposite of faith. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? These words ring down through the centuries. We know Christ was teaching an exact science, the science of mind, the power of thought, and the power of the word. We must have faith, for faith registers the idea in the subconscious mind. When an idea is once registered in the subconscious, it must objectify. This is the reason Jesus Christ told people that if they believed, which is having faith, all things were possible. How are we to get rid of this anxiety, which we might call anti-faith? The only way to neutralize it is to walk up to the thing you are afraid of. Form the habit of making giant swings into faith. You will receive marvelous returns. As has already been noted, we look with amazement at the people in the circus performing their remarkable feats. These people have the faith that they can perform these acts and see themselves doing it. You cannot accomplish anything you cannot see yourself accomplishing. These difficult feats are all a matter of poise and balance. Your success and happiness depends upon your poise and balance. Trusting God is like walking a slack wire. Doubt and fear cause you to lose your balance and fall off into lack and limitation. Like the circus performer, it takes practice. No matter how many times you fail, try it again. Soon you will acquire the habit of poise and balance. Then the world is yours. You will walk joyfully into your kingdom. The circus performers all seem to love their work, no matter how difficult. The band plays, the people applaud, and they smile. But remember, they were trained without the music and applause. Rhythm, harmony, and balance are the keys to success and happiness. When you are out of rhythm, you are out of luck. Be careful or anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. This is certainly a wonderful arrangement, all in favor of man. Man, free from worry and fear, asks with thanksgiving, and his good is given him. Victory and fulfillment are two wonderful words, and since we realize these words and thoughts are a form of radioactivity, we carefully choose the words we wish to see crystallize. Life is a crossword puzzle. The right word gives you the answer. Many people are rattling off destructive words in their conversation. Remember, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. You are condemned by them because they do not return void. Change your words and you change your world, for your word is your world. Why not try a diet of the right words? For you are literally eating your words. That is the value of the affirmation. You are deliberately building up a constructive idea in your consciousness. Your consciousness may be crammed and jammed with destructive ideas, but continually making a statement of truth will dissolve these negative thought forms. These thought forms have been built up from your own vain imaginings. Perhaps as a child you were taught that life was hard, happiness fleeting, and that the world was cold and unfriendly. These ideas were impressed upon your subconscious, and you found things just as they were predicted. With a knowledge of truth, all these external pictures may be changed, for they are only pictures, which change as your subconscious beliefs change. When I tell people about the power of the word, and that words and thoughts are a form of radioactivity, and do not return void, they say, "Oh, is it as easy as that?" Many people like things difficult and hard to understand. I believe that was the reason the amazingly simple teachings of Jesus Christ were forgotten after a few hundred years. People built up creeds and ceremonies which they only half understand. Now, in this 20th century, the secret things are being revealed, and we are again having primitive Christianity. And I might add, now in this 21st century, the secret things are being revealed, and we are now again having enlightened spirituality. Ask, believing thou shalt receive. We know that our beliefs or expectations are impressed upon the subconscious and carried out. We might say, if you ask, not believing, you will not receive. Faith creates expectancy. The supreme intelligence is what man becomes one with when he speaks the word. This supreme intelligence awaits man's direction, but it must have right of way. It must not be limited. Your quality of thought penetrates every article for sale and all the conditions connected with it. Jesus Christ was divinely enthusiastic about the message he had to bring to the Father within each man. He was enthusiastic about faith. He told the people that whatsoever they ask in his name would be given them. It was a message of asking and receiving. He told them just how to comply with spiritual law. Ask, believing thou shalt receive. When ye pray, believe ye have it. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? We become divinely enthusiastic about our answered prayers, which we call demonstrations, for it means that we have demonstrated the truth and have been set free from some limitation. I knew a man who was the center of attraction wherever he went, because he was always enthusiastic about something. Whatever it was, shoes, clothes, or haircut, he enthused others into buying the same things. He did not gain anything material by it. He was just naturally enthusiastic. Someone has said, if you want to be interesting to others, be interested in something. An interested person is an enthusiastic person. We often hear people say, do tell me what you're interested in. Many people are without vital interests and are hungry to hear what other people are doing. They are usually the ones who keep the radio turned on from early morning till late at night. They must be entertained every minute. Their own affairs do not hold enough interest. And might I add, they are usually the ones who keep Instagram scrolling and social media and TV and Facebook going from early morning till late at night. They must be entertained every minute and never tune into the silence or meditate. Their own affairs do not hold enough interest. A woman once told me, I love other people's affairs. She lived on gossip. Her conversations consisted of, I was told, I was given to understand, or I heard. It is needless to say that she is now paying her karmic debt. A great unhappiness has overtaken her, and everyone knows about her affairs. It is dangerous to neglect your own affairs and to take an idle curiosity in what others are doing. We should all be busily engaged in perfecting ourselves, but take a kindly interest in others. You will be kept busy enough perfecting your own life. You won't have time to run other people's affairs. With divine enthusiasm, I bless what I have, and I look with wonder at its increase. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, definitely check the description or links to more videos I've done from Florence Scovel Shinn's books. Again, these are quotes from the book The Power of the Spoken Word by Florence Scovel Shinn, and I'm Matilda. Check out my art website in the description below as well. I've got tons of art on all of these subjects that she talks about. Art painted from the Bible and art painted about spiritual consciousness outside of religions, simply spirituality.